I'm making a video on Abyss Actors. I think it's a pretty interesting Pendulum deck, and I want to make it free to play, although it's not entirely free to play. This is the secret pack here on screen. The reason I say it's not entirely free to play is because we do have some super rares. We have like Rise of the Abyss King, Fantastic Theater, Wild Hope Leading Lady, Hyper Director, and I do think you need at least one copy of the ultra rare ones, Evil Heal, Superstar, and Mellow Madonna. But that doesn't mean that the deck is really expensive. I try to make it as cheap as possible, and I'll show that right here. Now, this deck is not the best version it could be. This is the free-to-play version. I made this version mainly for the people who want to try this deck and don't really want to like craft a bunch of cards, but they do want to craft it, or maybe they went into the box and they have some of the cards. This is kind of what I did. I did one copy of the super rares that you can run one copy of, and I am running 3 copies of Dress Rehearsal just because it is the strongest spell in the entire game. It's a starter. Starter means that it gets your like plays going. It searches out 2 cards from your deck, which is a lot of advantage. And we also have 2 copies of Rise of the Abyss King. You can get away with 1. This card essentially just says it destroys face-up cards on the field up to the number of attack position Abyss Actors. You're usually going to have like 5 to 3, so you can destroy a bunch of cards. I like it. I run it at 2. You can run it at 1. And the final thing I'm going to mention is the extra deck. We have Hyper Director, who I'm running 2 of. You can run him at 2 or 1. Preferably 2. Most builds, even the expensive builds with like the high rarity cards, run him at 2. And the other one is Super Producer. I'm running him at 1 because it's an ultra rare, but if possible, try running it at 2. So we're going to be starting off with the bundle cards. Bundle cards are these special cards in Master Duel where if you spend 750 gems, you get 10 packs and this card guaranteed included. The ones we're going to be running are the Ash Blossom bundle, Nibiru, who is a bundle card, and the next bundle card we're going to have is Infinite Impermanence. Let's talk about the Abyss Actors, what they do, what I've been thinking, and at the end of the video, I'll show off some replays. So let's start this off with Funky Comedian. This guy is a weird level. He's a level 1, but it doesn't necessarily matter in this deck too much because we actually have a skill 0, which means that we can special summon level 1s from our extra deck when they get sent there. This guy, when he's on the field, he gains attack equal to every Abyss Actor you control, including himself, and then he can give that attack to another monster, but he can attack. Essentially, he's just at a small attack boost. We only run 1 copy because we only really need 1. Besides that, we have Abyss Actor Extras. This card is excellent. Even the expensive builds run this card at 3. It is very, very, very powerful. The reason it is so powerful is because if it's on your Pendulum scale and your opponent controls a monster, it's a free special summon, which is nice because it doesn't use up your normal, but also it has a monster effect where you can tribute it and then place an Abyss Actor from your deck in your Pendulum zone. It's very good because it literally searches out the most important one, Mellow Madonna, which essentially is pay 1,000 life points, add an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Downside is you can't special summon monsters except Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters. That means you can't even special summon the Abyss Actor links, only Pendulum. It is kind of a little wonky, but there are some plays, and I'll show in the replay about how you can do things. Next up, we have Comic Relief. If it's in your scale, and it has a good scale, it's a scale 8, you can target an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control, one monster your opponent controls, and then you just switch control. You give your opponent your monster and you take their monster. Also, this card gets destroyed. It has an on-field effect also. I don't think it's necessarily that good. Mainly the Pendulum scale effect, when it's used as a scale, is very, very good. I have taken opponents' monsters and it has been huge. The next one we have is Abyss Actor Sassy Rookie. This one's a little bit more of a better one. If it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, it's not. If it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon an Abyss Actor who's level 4 or lower from your deck. And if this card's in your Pendulum zone and it's destroyed, you can destroy a level 4 or lower monster your opponent controls. It has a lot going for it. The main reason I do like it is because it's one of the only few low rarity, meaning a normal rare rarity Abyss Actor that has decent stats and it floats. Floating means that if it dies by battle or card effect, it just replaces itself. Next up, we're running 1 Abyss Actor Leading Lady. Some builds don't even run this card at all. I am running it because I think it's a nice addition to the deck. Would I run more than 1? There's a car in the background. Would I run more than 1? No, but I do like having the option of it in the deck. Essentially what it has to do is lowering the attack of an opponent's monster. If you take battle damage, you can lower the attack of an opponent's monster equal to the battle damage you took. It's the same effect when it's on the Pendulum scale as when it's as a monster. Next up we have Abyss Actor Wild Hope. This is a super rare. Builds run this between 1 and 3 copies, mainly because it has a decent effect where it can get a little bit stronger, gains 100 attack for each Abyss Actor monster you control with different names. That's nice and includes its own name. But also that if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add an Abyss Actor card from your deck to your hand. Now, it's very similar in terms of like when it's destroyed, it gets to do something as Sassy Rookie. So I'm not entirely sure why Sassy Rookies are rare and this guy's a super rare. I don't know. But this card is important. You can run it at 1 to 3. I'm choosing to run it at 1. Next up, we have 3 copies of Twinkling Little Star. The main reason I like this card is because it's a scale 9, which allows you to Pendulum summon a level 8, and we only run one level 8, Evil Heal, from our extra deck or hand. Is it necessary to run in the deck? More expensive builds don't run this card at all. I wouldn't run this card at all either in a more expensive build, and we already filled up our deck with the other Abyss Actors, and I mean, if I were to add in more Wild Hope, like if I were to have like 3 copies, I would definitely lower down Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle Little Star also has the effect that it can make a monster attack like 3 times. It's nice. I mainly just use it for the scale just to Pendulum summon the level 8 Evil Heal for my extra deck. Next up is Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. Very powerful card even outside of the Abyss Actor archetype, specifically in Pendulum decks. Mainly for the fact that if it's on your scale and you don't control a monster, you can just special summon it. That's a once per duel effect though, so you can only do that once, like the entirety of the duel. But specifically in this deck, if you have an Abyss Actor in your extra deck, you can send an Abyss Actor card from your deck to the graveyard and then add that Abyss Actor from your extra deck to your hand. So it does give you reoccurring. Also, it's not a hard once per turn, so if you normal summon this guy, use that effect to add something from your extra deck to your hand, and then you Pendulum him back, or you Pendulum another copy, or you have multiple copies. You can use as many copies as you can, once each. So it is very nice that it's not a hard once per turn. Some of these cards kind of have that. And now we're going to move on to the more expensive ones. Abyss Actor Superstar. Main reason we run this is because a Pendulum effect, I mean, it's okay. It's not. I never use it for the Pendulum effect. You contribute an Abyss Actor, target one in your spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. That's a good effect, but we already have a spell that does exactly that, so not important. We're using it because of the monster effect. Once per turn, you can set one Abyss Actor spell directly from your deck, but during the end phase, it goes to the graveyard. I think that's really powerful because we can literally search out a card that just destroys face-up cards on the field. We can search up, gain a little bit of life points, or my favorite is the one where we contribute a monster, add one from the graveyard to the hand. Literally the Pendulum scale effect of this card, but we can just search out a spell that does it. Next up we have Mellow Madonna. This card is very good because when it's in your scale, you can pay 1,000 life points and you add a Pendulum monster, Abyss Actor from your deck to your hand. Only bad side is you should be doing your link combos before you activate this effect. Otherwise, you're going to be locked entirely out of summoning your links. Doesn't matter if it's a link Abyss Actor. She says, nah, it's not a Pendulum, so I don't care. Which kind of does suck. Because, I mean, the links are good, and you usually want to go into the links. She also has an effect that when she's in your hand, if a Pendulum monster is destroyed, special summon her. Also, if you activate a spell Abyss Actor card, you can just special summon a level 4 lower Abyss Actor from your deck. That's kind of nice, but I always just use her for the scale. If I had more copies, I'd use her monster effect more. But we only have one because she's very expensive, ultra, so as a scale. And the final monster is Abyss Actor Evil Heal. Now this big fish is not necessary, but I do like it because it's a 3k beater, and when it's normal or special summon, it can lower the attack of opponent's monster by 1,000 for each Abyss Actor you control. You can lower an opponent's monster easily 3,000 attack, like very easily. So yeah, the main reason it's in the deck is because it's a big beater. That's it. That's the main reason. It doesn't really do much besides that. It's just a big beater. Next up, we're going to look at the spells. So this is the budget version, so we're not running a bunch of hand traps. If we were, the spell count would be a little bit different. Most lists usually run like 2 copies of each of the spells, except Dress Rehearsal, which is a 3 of because it's very powerful. But the free-to-play build, we're going to be running 3 copies of Opening Ceremony. Gain 500 life points for each Abyss Actor you control. That's all it does, well, at least when you activate it. So that doesn't seem that good, right? I mean, maybe you gain 1,000 life points, maybe 2,500. Like, who cares? That's like nothing. Well, if it's set face down and it's destroyed by an opponent's card, and you have an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you can draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. That is one of the most powerful effects in the entire game. Card effects don't usually say, hey, draw 5 cards. They don't. Like, that is just insanely powerful. There's a card called Pot of Greed, which is banned, and it literally just says draw 2 cards. So yeah, this is a little bit crazy, but you might be thinking, well, how do I make sure that the opponent destroys my card, right? We do have a little bit of a workaround that I will talk about. Next up, we have Abyss Script. This one is probably the best Abyss script. That's why it's a super rare, in my opinion. Just target face-up cards on the field equal to the number of attack position Abyss Actors, destroy them. Also, if you control a level 7 or higher Abyss card, your opponent cannot respond to this card. The no responding makes it, I think, a spell speed 4 or 3. It makes it one of the most fastest and toughest in the entire game because your opponent can't do anything. If you activate this and they have a negate, they have any way, shape, or form to stop it. Nope, this just says, like, I don't care, I control level 7 or higher. You can't do anything about it. Also, if this is set face down, so, you know, if you just set it and you don't want to use it and it's destroyed, you can add 2 Abyss Actors or Scripts cards from your deck to your hand. Another very powerful effect, but it's not as strong as some of the other ones. Next up, we have 3 copies of Abyss Actor Dress Rehearsal. Do you need 3? No, but this card just makes the deck better. The more copies you add into your deck, the better this deck gets, the more consistent it gets. At the start of your main phase 1, add 1 Abyss Actor card, Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot Pendulum summon monsters except Abyss Actor. Doesn't really matter. All the monsters in the deck besides Nibiru and Ash Blossom are Abyss Actor, so that, yeah, it's just a good card. It's just 2 free cards. Besides that, we have 3 copies of Abyss Script Dramatic Story. This one is my favorite. Target an Abyss Actor Pendulum you control, special summon an Abyss Actor from your deck, then either place the monster you targeted initially into your Pendulum zone or destroy it. We do have effects where if they're destroyed, Wild Hope and Sassy Rookie, we get effects. But if you don't want to destroy it, you can just place it in your Pendulum scale and you get a free scale. So it's not bad at all. This is definitely one of the better cards. When this set card is destroyed by an opponent, you can return up to 2 cards on the field to the hand. This is probably one of the weakest, because, I mean, returning 2 cards from the field to the hand isn't bad, but, like, dude, there is one that just says every card your opponent has return to the hand. So this is like a weaker version. Next up, we have the field spell. Do you need to run this? I would say so. It's searchable with the link to, which is pretty important. And the field spell has an effect where if you reveal 2 cards in your hand, Abyss Actor Pendulum monster and Abyss Actor spell card, you can add a spell card from your deck to your hand that's an Abyss Actor with a different name than the revealed one. Also, if you control a Pendulum summon Abyss Actor monster, which is fairly easy in this deck, and your opponent activates a monster effect, their monster effect gets changed to destroy 1 set card your opponent controls. The best part is that when they destroy a set spell or trap you control, and you set a Abyss Actor card, you get the return 2 cards on the field to the hand. You also can get the add 2 cards from your deck to your hand, or my favorite, the draw 5 cards. That one's pretty good. Next up, we have Abyss-tainment. This is an important card. Even the expensive builds run this card at 2 or 3, mainly for the fact that it's tributing an Abyss Actor card, target an Abyss Script in your graveyard, set it onto the field, and you can use that effect twice. Like, whoa. But you know what's really cool about this? If this card's destroyed by an opponent's card effect, which, I mean, let's just say the field spell pops it, whatever, who cares? Special summon any number of Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters from your deck. Yeah, you could special summon 5. I've done it before. I've done it where I special summoned 5 of them from my deck. That is power. And it doesn't matter about levels. You can special summon all your big levels if you want to. That is just a crazy effect. But you know what's even crazier? This one. Abyss Script Romantic Terror. Return 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control to your hand. Special summon from your extra deck 1 Abyss Actor with a different name. That's cool. I like it because it's a quick play. It's like you can kind of like play around. But let's imagine right now they have Lightning Storm or they have Harpy's Feather Duster, and they're like, I'm going to destroy every set spell or trap you have. I don't care. Okay. Well, when this card's destroyed by a card effect, you can set any number of Abyss Script spells directly from your deck at any number you want. And the final card in the deck, Infinite Impermanence. It's a hand trap. Now, do you need to run this? No, it comes in a bundle, so I think it's a good card. You should run it. It has come in kind of clutch for me sometimes, especially with the drawing 5 thing. Sometimes you want to draw a card that's not like, you know, an Abyss script. You want something that can just do something straight away. Target a face-up monster in the field, negate it. Also, if it's set face down, it can potentially negate a spell or trap that's in the same column, meaning if it's like in front of it. Alright, let's look at the extra deck. Now, I've been holding off on talking about this for the main reason that, man, this extra deck looks jank! Yeah, it does look kind of jank. Look at this, Dispatch Paparazzi. Who runs this? Nobody runs this. Double triple burst dragon. Yeah, big brain thinking here, right? Power code talker, steel star regulator, agave dragon. Now, the main reason I put these cards, mainly the rare cards in the extra deck, is because, yeah, the extra deck's important, but the most important cards in the extra deck are the Abyss Actor cards. We have Abyss Actor Hyper Director, who's a Link 1, so if you have any of the normal summonable Abyss Actors, you can instantly go into Hyper Director. And Hyper Director has the effect where target a card in your Pendulum zone, special summon it, then place one from your deck with a different name into that zone. Wow, cool effect, right? It literally searches your deck for any of those. And then, you know what's the cool part? Is that when you special summon that monster, you can just use that monster and this Link monster, go into this guy. Super Producer. During your main phase quick effect, you can target a face-up card you control, destroy it, and then you can search out the field spell, put it directly onto the field. Cool thing. And also, the other one is just place one from your deck in a Pendulum zone. I mean, that's not a bad effect, let's be honest. Very cool cards. I would always run 2 Producer if I had to. I only own 1, plus this is budget and he's ultra rare. Also, Hyper Director, I would run 2. If you have 1, run 1. Do you need him necessarily? Well, I mean, if anything, Hyper Director is the most important one, because it's a Link 1, you're going to be going into it more, and it's only a super rare. Besides that, the rest of the extra deck is not very important. Now, in the expensive build, you should be running stuff like Access Code Talker, Appaloosa, Boral Sword, just generally really overpowered Link monsters that can get you out of situations. But since this is just the budget version, I'm just running budget cards in the extra deck. Anyways, enough talking. Let's get into it. All right, replay number 1. So our opening hand is Sassy Rookie, Curtain Raiser, 2 Abyss-tainment, and Dramatic Story. Now we're gonna normal summon the Rookie dude, and we're gonna go into Hyper Director. We're gonna use this guy as a scale so we can just pendulum summon this, excuse me, special summon it. And we're gonna search out the Mellow directly from the deck. Now, right here is where I messed up. I'm gonna pause here because Mellow, if you remember, I said has the effect where you can pay 1,000 life points, add an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. But remember, you cannot summon any monster that's not an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster. What I should have done here was, after I summoned Curtain Raiser and did the effect to grab back Sassy Rookie to my hand, I should have Link summoned into the Link 2 Abyss Actor Super Producer. I should have did that. I didn't. So we are going to pay a little bit for that, but not too much. We're going to add to our hand Twinkling Little Star. We're going to set up our scales. And here's where I realized, like, okay, I kind of messed up. I can't link anymore. So, oops. Let's just still try to play through this. We're going to summon Superstar directly from the deck. And our Curtain Raiser gets destroyed. Now we can Pendulum summon 1, 2. 1 from the hand, 1 from the extra deck. We're going to set a spell using Superstar. We're going to gain some life points, 2,000. Not the worst thing in the world. Abyss-tainment is going to tribute a card. We're going to set a spell. Abyss-tainment is going to tribute a card. We're going to set a spell. And we're going to end our turn. Now, our board's not the most impressive, although on next turn, what can we do? Well, we can tribute stuff, add stuff, and they're going to lightning storm. Well, we're going to activate those 2 set spell traps. Abyss Ceremony lets us draw 4 cards until we have 5 cards in our hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, nice. Romantic Territory is, oh, yep, we're going to set a bunch of spells directly from our deck. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Oh, yeah, shuffle that thing too. And we're playing against Pendulums. Yeah, Ignites. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, let me speed it. Let's see what our opponent does. They're going to use their scales. They're going to summon 3 monsters. They're going to go into Doolittle. They're going to attack our monster, Superstar. Oh no! They're going to try to destroy this guy. It can't be destroyed once per turn, you know. So, all right, it's our turn. Well, five cards in our hand. We drew 1. Now we got 6 cards. Let's gain a little bit of life points. We'll gain 500 life points. We're going to activate this, special summon a monster from our deck, Evil Heal. We'll set this guy as a scale. Evil Heal is going to lower the attack of his monster. We're going to use Comic Relief. We could have also stole his monster. I probably should have did that, but it's whatever. Pendulum summon 2 monsters. Abyss Tainment, where we contribute a monster and activate something. And Mellow has the effect where we could special summon if we activate a spell card, which we did. Now we're going to activate... There's a lot of effects going on, so sorry about that. We're going to activate Rise of the Abyss King, which essentially says if you have a bunch of Abyss actors in attack position with different names, we have 4, we can destroy cards on the field, like whatever we want, up to that number. So we destroyed every single card they had. Yeah, we're just going to tribute that monster, because this guy can't attack. Funky can't attack this turn. Going to attack once, twice, and I don't think that's game. Oh, it is. That's game. Replay number 2. Alright, let's see what we got. 2 Sassy Rookie, Curtain Raiser, Superstar, and Rising of the Abyss King. So Curtain Raisers get a special summon itself, just for free, because it's a once per duel effect. We're gonna normal summon Sassy Rookie. We're gonna go into Hyper Directure. Excuse me for my English. Curtain Raiser is gonna use the effect where we can send a spell from our deck to the graveyard, add back a card from our extra deck. We're gonna use Superstar as a scale, special summon Superstar using the Link 1, and right now we added Madonna. So I learned from the last game. This time we're going to link before we activate Madonna's effect. So that's what we do. We're going to link off into Super Producer. Destroy face-up card, quick effect, and then we can like, search out the field spell or search out a card in our skills. Whatever we want. We're going to tribute a monster so that we can set a spell in our graveyard. Madonna's going to activate the effect. We're going to add Twinkling Little Star. So now we have a scale 9, scale 0. We're going to pendulum level 8 to 1. So we're going to pendulum summon Superstar from the extra deck and Curtain Raiser. And we're going to special summon 2 cards from our hand. We're going to activate Opening Ceremony, gain some life points. Also, this is what I do. I'm going to chain Super Producer when I activate the spell. The reason I'm doing that is because the spell is going to go to the graveyard anyways. So Super Producer is going to destroy the spell, and I'm still going to get the effect. It's not negating the effect. So I'm literally kind of just like... I'm not destroying anything. So I'm getting the effect for free. I'm kind of cheesing it. That's how I would put it. So we're going to get the field spell, and then we're going to gain 2,500 life points, and then we get to set a spell directly from our deck. We're going to do Dramatic Story, which is, special summon 1 from our deck. We're going to try to destroy this card. It says can't be destroyed. Tribute it. We're going to set a spell. Now remember, our field spell says, if our opponent activates a monster effect, destroy set spell your opponent controls. And we set Dramatic Story. So if our opponent destroys this card, we can return 2 cards on the field to the hand. We're going to activate this card again, and this is where I misplay. I shouldn't have did that. Main reason is the spell, yes, you do get an effect when it's destroyed when it's set, but you have to have an Abyss actor in your extra deck. We just added that to our hand. We have nothing in our extra deck, so oops, misplay. Also, the field spell has an effect where we can just search our deck for a card. We're going to set 2 cards. We have nothing in our extra deck, so if our opponent does destroy these 2 cards, it doesn't do anything. So yeah, misplay on my part. Oops, too bad. And they're going to play, what are they playing, like Runics or something? Okay, well, we're going to negate that Runic effect. You can destroy my set spell or trap. Battle phase skipped. Alright, that kind of sucks. Alright, it's our turn. We have a lot of things going on. And the one thing that was like going on in my head? I'm like, man, they have a bunch of traps. What if they have like a Mirror Force card? Wouldn't that be kind of funny? I'm like, nah, there's no way they're going to have a Mirror Force card. I know I'm doing a lot of things, but really I'm just like, I'm not really doing anything. We're going to enter battle phase, and they have Drowning Mirror Force. We lose every single monster, and we have nothing in our extra deck to Pendulum Summon. Although we do have Mellowing Madonna, so we can Pendulum Summon 2 monsters and Solemn Judgment. New players or people who might be like unfamiliar with Yu-Gi-Oh! Ruling is like, hey, Solemn Judgment, what does it say? Negate, dissummon, destroy? Yeah, but this card says it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. The thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though the card looks like it's already on the field, it's not. So Solemn Judgment takes place before this card is even summoned, at least both of them. So it's like before they hit the field, your opponent activates Solemn Judgment, and that's when they stop the effect. So this card's technically not even on the field yet, so that's why it's not like protecting itself from Solemn Judgment. So both are going to get destroyed. But the cool thing is, I still get the effect. So I'm going to add a spell from my deck to my hand. And now I'm thinking like, okay, well, Dress Rehearsal is literally 2 free cards. So next turn, if they don't kill us, they just set a card. Now we have Dress Rehearsal, we're going to draw 2 free cards. So let's do that. Dress Rehearsal, we're going to search out a monster, another Sassy Rookie. Can't go wrong with that. Opening Ceremony, just a little bit more life points. We're going to activate the field spell, so we can just search out another spell. Another Abyss Tainment, like why not? We're going to set an Abyss Tainment, so if they activate a monster effect, it's going to destroy this. And yeah, look at that. We summon 2 monsters, another Mirror Force. Okay, Abyss Tainment's going to tribute one of these monsters. We're going to set another spell or trap, and we can Pendulum summon that monster back. Also, Madonna, pay a little bit of life points, add a card from our deck to your hand. We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good in this grind game, right? Our opponent has 2 set spell or traps, and they activate Cauldron of the Old Man. Oh my gosh, they're playing a stall deck. Alright, we just need to beat him or her before the game's over. Alright, so we're going to activate the field spell. We're going to reveal 2 cards in our hand. It has to be a spell and a monster. And we can add a spell. Only a spell. You can't add a monster, sadly. We're going to go off into Gravity Controller. Main reason I do that is for the arrow because it points in the middle. And now we're going to Pendulum summon 3 monsters. And I'm like, alright, if you have a Mirror Force, you have a Mirror Force. Hit me with it. No Mirror Force. So that is game number 2. And this is going to be the final replay. I think this is when I finally felt like, yeah, I think I'm doing things correctly. We are going first. We're going to activate Dress Rehearsal. We have 2 in our hand. We can only activate 1 because it says it's the start of your main phase. You can only have the start of your main phase once. So yeah, the other one's just going to sit in our hand. We're going to do this card, which essentially says you can special summon an Abyss card from your deck. And Wild Hope, when it's destroyed, we can add a card. So now we're kind of doing our thing. Abyss Tainment is going to go to the graveyard during the end phase, but that's going to be fine. We're going to set up our scales, and we're going to add a monster using Mellow Madonna. I chose not to go into the links. I'm not entirely sure why, but it'll be fine. We're going to Pendulum summon 3 monsters. We're going to use Abyss Tainment. We're going to tribute a monster. We're going to add back that, thing from our graveyard back on the field. And yeah, it's not the most impressive board, I'm going to be honest. It is what it is. We're playing against Pendulums. I like playing against Pendulums. Pretty cool. Specifically, this is the Mythical and Endymion Pendulum deck. The main point of this deck is that you summon this big monster, which we will see in this turn, that pretty much negates anything, I think, if I remember correctly. They're about to do it right now. Yeah, Endymion, the Master of Might. Literally Omni Negate. Also, that's not it. Electromite. So this is when they hit their 5 summon limit. If you noticed, I have a Nibiru in the hand. They summon 5 monsters, tribute everything. So they're going to do Electromites. That's like you have to activate that effect when it's summoned. And Nibiru is going to be chained, so we're going to tribute everything. Boom. I get Big Rock, you get Token. And Electromite's still going to send the Astrograph because that's usually always what you send. I was tempted to run Astrograph in this deck too, but I just, I didn't really think you need it. We're going to use Dress Rehearsal. We're going to add a monster and a spell card. The spell card we add is Rise of the Abyss King. So we control attack position monsters. We can destroy cards our opponent controls. But you'll see what I do. I'm going to use Hyper Director. Now we're going into our link plays. Hyper Director is going to special summon the Twinkling Twilight. We're going to search our deck for this card. It's called Comic Relief. You might be wondering, hey, why'd you get rid of your scale 9 and summon a scale 8? Well, this guy has the Pendulum effect where we can just steal an opponent's monster. You see what our opponent has, right? It's a big monster. So we're going to Pendulum summon here. We're going to Pendulum summon 1, 2, 3. Yeah, pretty much just fill everything. Then we're going to steal the Nibiru token, and then not only that, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to activate Rise of the Abyss King. I'm going to destroy everything, right? And then also I'm going to chain the Super Producer, destroy the spell. Since it's already going to the graveyard, it's kind of like a free effect. And we're going to activate the field spell. So now if our opponent activates a monster effect, pretty much negates it. It just changes the effect to destroy a set spell or trap we control. And just one shot with the Nibiru token. Those were the serious replays. The deck does have potential. It's very cool. This is the budget version. I was using the budget version the whole entire time. The last replay is my first game, I think, with this deck. It was when I was still discovering how it works. And the reason I'm including it in the video is because maybe you might, relate to it. When you pick up a new deck, you might not know what's going on. So yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the deck choices. We're running Mana Dragon Zenithon. Essentially, this card has the effect where if a spell or trap you destroy control is destroyed, whether it's in a graveyard or banished, special summon this card, then set that card back again. I was like, oh, I could just make the opponent can destroy my spell or traps, and then this card works, and ooh, so cool, combos, big brain. I mean, it doesn't work in the deck. The main reason is because, as you see, this is my turn 1. I think I set a card. I forgot I even had a link 1 in my deck. I could have did more than this, but I forgot I have a link, so I'm just like, oh, okay. So here we go. Madonna. All right, well, I'm going to use Madonna's effect. Well, if you remember, Madonna means I can't link summon anymore. So I should have went into my link first, then Madonna, but you know, either near nor there. And then look at my skills. I have a skill 0 and a skill 2. Oh man, this is so bad. But it's okay. They Ash Blossom or Madonna, so we can still link summon. Thank you, Jesus. They're going to activate Infinite Imperm on our Link guy. That does kind of suck because we needed him. So, yeah, I think that's literally where our turn ends. Not the best. Also, they're going to activate Evenly Matched. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep Madonna. We only run one copy in our deck. I don't want to lose it. It's super important. It can replace itself by paying 1,000 life points. They're just going to activate Allure Darkness. They have 2 cards in their hand. I'm like, I'll just activate the Ash. What are the chances that their 2 cards in their hand are like the best cards in their deck, you know? They end their turn. I got lucky. Thank you. Alright, our turn. We're going to draw. Bisactor Extra is not the worst thing in the world. We're going to activate Madonna. They're going to activate Maxi. I'm like, okay, alright. I'm going to try not to special summon too much. So we're going to search out... Oh, no, we actually didn't search out a good number. So... yeah, we're going to use Extra's normal summon effect where we tribute it, and then we can set a card from our deck as a scale, and we're going to pendulum summon 2 monsters. This isn't very impressive. Also, I realized here I couldn't go into any links. I couldn't go into anything because of Madonna, so that was kind of when I realized that, hey, maybe I shouldn't be activating Madonna just, like, you know, for free every time. Okay, they're going to summon their Black Wings. They kind of got their combos going, like, whoa, okay, all right, yeah, I like it, I like it. They're going to summon their Blackwing Dragon. They're going to tribute this for a token. And I'm like, oh, they're going to go into their Synchro 10, right? Nope. Okay. Also, they'd even activate this monster during the main phase 1. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, it's our turn. We're going to draw a card, Abysstainment. It's whatever. Now, I'm like starting to figure out how things work. Link 1. Woo, yeah, let's go. Oh, they're going to activate the trap. What are they going to summon? What can they do? This is new. I didn't know you could do this. Silverwind, the Ascendant. When this card synchro summon, you can target up to 2 monsters on the field with defense lower than this card's attack. I mean, it literally just destroys 2 cards on the field. I think he was like going like, yeah, I'm gonna destroy your monster. Blink monsters don't have defense, so he has to destroy his own monster. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna activate my link. I'm gonna special summon. We're gonna go into the link 2. Here we go. Okay, I've seen this before. I know these combos. We're gonna destroy that scale. We're gonna activate the field spell. We're gonna search our card for a spell, or search our deck for a spell, excuse me. And then I'm gonna use Madonna's effect. That we're gonna grab a scale 8. This was before I was running the scale 9. I realized that I needed to run the Twinkling Girl because the scale 9 is very important. Here we're gonna boost up the attack of one of the monsters. Rise of the Abyss King is gonna destroy both their monsters. Curtain Razor is just gonna send a spell from the deck to the graveyard, add a card from our extra deck back to your hand, and we're gonna normal summon. That should be game. This big dude, Funky Comedian, cannot attack. I could be wrong. I don't think that's game. Okay, I'm completely wrong. That was not game. We're gonna use Abysstainment. We can use this effect twice, by the way, but I don't know if we do. I'm gonna be. This is when I was still kind of newbie. Special summon a monster from our deck. Super Sword can set a spell directly from your deck. Opponent scoops. Yeah, you like Abyss Actors. I like Abyss Actors. I hope you like this video. My name's KushiKush. I hope you have a great day or night. Hope everything is going well for you. And as always, maybe I'll catch you next time. See ya.